Hello, and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the OpIndia Recap with me, Sham Sharma. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for watching today. We appreciate you. All right, so if you're watching the OpIndia YouTube channel for the first time, please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. And if you're a regular watcher and you're not subscribed already, please make sure to subscribe. Okay, so Umar Khalid and gang have recently been in the news, number one, for organizing the highly underwhelming Yuva Hunkar rally, and secondly, for going to Bhima Koregaon and inciting violence among communities. But these people first came to prominence back in JNU last year when they were chanting slogans for the freedom of Kashmir, and they were chanting slogans treating convicted terrorists like Afzal Guru as some sort of heroes. So of course the surefire way to become a darling of the media is to again treat terrorists like heroes and to shout for the freedom of Kashmir. So naturally they become darlings of the media, and media has been trying to portray these people as some sort of heroes. And so the Quint actually made a video soon after that whole JNU fiasco about how Umar Khalid is actually a hero and how Umar Khalid is actually a great citizen and a great dissenter and a great martyr who is being crushed under the heel of this fascist BJP government. So yeah, we're going to make a rebuttal to that video.
आज क्रिमिनल्स तो वो हैं जो पावर में हैं, जेल में तो वो हैं जो उस पावर का विरोध कर रहे हैं.
So note that he says today, aaj jo log power mein hai. So today he believes that the people who are in power are actually criminals. Today when he's a 30-year-old student, but I wonder when he was a 26, 27-year-old student if he wondered that if the people who are in power then were criminals, because those people were actually being charged with scam after scam after scam after scam. And they were being charged with just devouring people's money. And I wonder if Mr. Khalid then thought that the people in power were criminals. Or did he think that those criminals were fine as long as those criminals were happy to appease him?
I was a special focus and I was singled out also as an Islamist terrorist. I mean, just by being a Muslim, do you cease to be a good Indian?
No, not at all. Sayyid Ata Hasnan is a great Indian. He is a 3-star retired general of the Indian Army who has served his country with distinction. Ashfaqullah Khan was a great Indian because he fought tooth and nail to rid his country from British rule. Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was even a great Indian because he wanted freedom for India from the British, and he wanted an united, undivided, strong India. Even Dara Shikoh was a great Indian because he wanted peace between Hindus and Muslims. He wanted a better understanding of Hindus so he would make a better ruler, which is why he translated the 50 Upanishads into Persian so he could understand them better, understand the culture better, so he could connect with the culture better and he could be a better ruler. People consider you a bad Indian because you openly sloganeer against India. People consider you a bad Indian because you openly call for the freedom of Kashmir from India. You call it Indian-occupied Kashmir. How is it Indian-occupied Kashmir? Kashmir is as old as India is. Kashmir is a great ancient learning center. Kashmir is a great learning center for Hinduism and Buddhism. And Kashmir was also a great seat of Shaivism. But Islam wasn't even born when Kashmir was a great ancient Hindu learning center. Kashmir has been part of India from time immemorial, and Kashmir will always be a part of India. You cannot occupy your own country. If Indians went to Munich in Germany and occupied Munich, that would be Indian-occupied Germany. You cannot occupy your own country. You weep for terrorists like Yaqub Menon, and you weep for terrorists like Afzal Guru who were responsible, who were convicted for killing your innocent countrymen in cold blood. You treat these people like heroes. You call for the legalization of the banned terrorist outfit Simi. You try to divide India among castes and religious lines, and you try to pit Indian against Indian. These are the reasons why people think you're a bad Indian, not because you're a Muslim, you muppet. So you keep talking about fighting the RSS. RSS, the organization that has done exemplary humanitarian work throughout India, wherever people need them. Whenever disaster strikes in any part of the country, whether it's Andhra Pradesh, whether it's Kashmir during the floods, whether it's Gujarat during earthquakes, wherever it is that people need help during a catastrophe, during a time of need, RSS is in the front lines, always there to help people. It is an organization that is committed to treating India as their mother and to inculcating pride among people in their ancient and glorious and storied history and culture. That's the organization you want to fight. fight. And you only want to fight that organization because that organization is not afraid to say that they're a nationalist Hindu organization. You always talk about fighting RSS, but I wonder why you never talk about fighting PFI, an organization that has been charged with murders across the country. An organization that chopped the hand off of a professor Saudi Arabia style just because he chose to write about Prophet Muhammad. This organization treats India like this is bloody Saudi Arabia. Would you ever fight that organization? Do you ever talk about that?
Clearly remember in 92, I was just 5 years old. The Babri demolition took place. There were black flags that came up all around Jamia Nagar. It could happen to some other Muslim in some other part of the country. There was this thing that it can happen to us as well.
You keep talking about the Babri Masjid and then you keep talking about Godhra and you bring everything that a Muslim thinks back to these two incidents and you talk about how Muslim lives are in danger in India. Now that is a very flawed logic, because if I follow your logic, so let me just follow your logic right there. If I follow your logic, so let's talk about the numerous temples that have been destroyed or damaged in West Bengal, the hundreds of temples that have been damaged or destroyed in Kashmir, not to mention the riots against Hindus like in UP, like in Bengal, and the genocide and ouster of Kashmiri Pandits who still have not been able to go back to their ancestral land. And not just that, we can go all the way back to direct action day when hundreds of Hindus were murdered. And we can keep going back to all of these incidents and we can actually, following your logic, we can actually make a really good case that Hindu lives are in a lot more danger in India than Muslim lives. Makes perfect sense, right? But you never talk about these issues. You never talk about when Hindus are victimized and traumatized in India. How come your Hindu brothers and sisters under distress don't deserve your sympathy?
जो अखलाक के साथ दादरी में हुआ, जुर्म या lack of it, वो तो बाद में प्रूव होगा. लेकिन अगर आपको मार ही दिया, तो आप डिफेंड कैसे करेंगे अपने आप को?
Again, you talk about this akhlaq incident, which is very unfortunate and which I condemn, but you talk about this incident and you talk about it in the way that it only happens to minorities. It only happens to Muslims. And again, that's very dishonest and that's very wrong. What about Dr. Pankaj Narang, who was dragged out of his house and beaten to death? What about the man who was murdered in cold blood just not for giving Muharram Chanda? What about the 15-year-old Rathod boy who was murdered by a Muslim just because he belonged to a different community? And of course, not to mention all the RSS and BJP workers who've been murdered across the country just for being RSS and BJP workers. Why do we never talk about these issues? It almost seems like you have an agenda.
और अगर आप सोचें आप एयरपोर्ट पे हैं या आप किसी सिनेमा हॉल में हैं और 4-5 लोग आपको घूर रहे हैं, आपके दिमाग में एक चीज चलती रहती है कि जो घूर रहा है ये मुझे नफरत से घूर रहा है.
No, let me confirm it for you. नफरत से घूर रहे हैं.
Very important for our generation is to doubt everything, is to be critical of everything, and that is how as a society we can move ahead. I doubt everything. Does that make me a bad Indian?
So in the video he's talking about question everything, doubt everything. Right here I have enumerated a list of things that Mr. Umar Khalid has neither questioned nor doubted. And this is the strategy of the radical Islamist left nexus. The whole goal of this nexus is to completely destroy the indigenous culture and then replace it with some so-called utopia where the Islamists and the leftists fight each other to the death. That's the ultimate goal here. And that's something we always have to fight, and that's something that we always have to call the media out on when the media treats these people and this ideology like it's some kind of a hero ideology. You're no martyr, Umar Khalid. You're no hero. You are a bad Indian. And you're a bad Indian not because you're a Muslim. Your religion has nothing to do with your ability to be a good or a bad Indian. I know tons of Hindus that I think would make terrible Indians. It is your intent, it is your ideology, and it is your actions that make you a bad Indian. And that's today's episode, guys. If you like today's episode, please make sure to like this video. Please make sure to share this video. Please make sure to help us deconstruct this ideology, deconstruct this leftist Islamist nexus ideology. All right, guys, again, if you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like today's episode. Please make sure to share it. Please make sure to tell people to come and check out OpIndia's YouTube channel. And if you're not already, please subscribe. All right, we're going to be back again next week with another edition of the OpIndia Recap. And until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.